All right, we are back again, and this week I'm coming at you with the masking tape, tomfoolery, the hoods, the capes, all the fun things to cheaply and practically and just simply elevate your models. In my case, I'm doing the Dust Raiders. They are my custom Space Marine faction. I talked about them in my last video, or maybe the first. I don't know, actually, I don't know the order. I'm doing several videos at once here. So, little roulette on which one will be released. But nonetheless, I'm using masking tape to, in a simple and once again, cheap way, to elevate my miniatures, to personalize them, to make them just a little more custom, you know? Just a little more zhuzh. You know, of course, there's all the different factions within like the proper lore of 40K, but I think an essence and spirit of the 40K and tabletop gaming realm, I think part of that is just your own individual creativity and ideas going into it. So, you know, this is a simple way in which I am choosing to elevate my models. So I've got this little tutorial here for you. I've already filmed the practical portion. It is a little long, I will say that, but I thought it was important to just be able to see, you know, have you see me working through this process. And granted, I am filming the thing, so like my distances as I'm working with the thing was affected because I'm working under a camera and trying to keep it like in focus and stuff and in like a certain place. But yeah, I just wanted to show the process. So hopefully that's helpful for as you're, you know, practically acting out, in, you know, either replicating or emulating it in some way. So yeah, the video runs a little long, but yeah, this is a super, really, for me, I don't know, I mentioned it in the video, like, I don't know if it's my own like personal affection for the things that I do, but this looks so good. It looks so good. It simply looks so good, and it doesn't require a lot of skill. It just requires, you know, just fudging around some masking tape on your miniatures and maybe a little creative thinking in terms of creating shapes, you know, out of the masking tape to apply to your miniature. But like, it doesn't require much, and the results, you know, personally, I think are just, they look so good. They look cool. But you be the judge. So for now, let's just get right into it. Here's me elevating my basic ass Space Marines into the Dust Raiders, my custom Space Marine faction, using masking tape, which I learned from Mr. Peach at Peachy Tips. So go watch his video along with mine. Cut to me doing masking tape magic. We'll see ya. All right. So we are here in the demonstration phase for making our hood with a face wrap, and our capes and like drapey stuff. Okay, so for doing this, there's just like a few basic shapes to kind of make it easy. I feel like, you know, sculpting these materials is easier if you break down the shapes and also simplify the shapes, because at the end of the day, this is not a sewn piece of material. So like, it doesn't need to be like even and geometric and stuff. Like you're emulating shapes opposed to like a proper piece of material. I don't know if that's needs to be said, but it was something that kind of flashed through my mind as I thought about making these. It's not like a Lego cape where it's just like a rectangular thing with a circle thing that you put over the slot and it sort of bends down. You're making the materials bend the direction that you want to go. So you're creating the shape opposed to shaping it to that shape. An example right here. So this right here, we got this guy this part right here would slot under the backpack and then curves out. And then for this, take some tweezers, you know, you crimp it around. And once it's good, you put some super glue on there. And I like to spread it around with my, my hobby knife. It hardens, it's still a little flexy, but I think once it's primed and everything, we'll be good to go. But yeah, this is an example of what doing this will achieve for you. So I'll zoom in there. Pretty cool looking. I don't say so myself. I think it has a pretty cool naturalness to it. So for these shapes, for the hood, we have the triangle shape. The lines are where you are going to be cutting in the masking tape. So that is going to be the basic hood shape. For the hood and face wrap, so when I was watching Peachy, he does like a proper like turban type thing where he wraps it around with like a thin piece of masking tape. That was way too fiddly for me. So like I said before, breaking these materials down into shapes. So that's what I did with the face wrap. Rather than doing the wrap around the face, I do a strip across the mouth and then I do the hood over that. And then the result is that. Looks pretty cool. Got, let's see, another one right there. So yeah, when you're doing this stuff, to simplify it for yourself, just break it down into shapes. Like I said, with the capes and like drapey stuff, you just got to figure out like the movement of your model. So in this case, this guy is kind of like lunging forward. His stuff is draping behind him. You know, we're following the action of the model. It's like art. I can't think of what they call it. It's in figure drawing. It's the kind of like the curve and the arc and the movement of the figure. So yeah, that's what you're looking for in these miniatures. You're looking for that movement, you know? And then like a guy that's more stagnant, look, it's just kind of, it's not moving. It's just draped down his back. Yeah, you find that movement and then you draw your drapey, flowy materials accordingly. And so that said, let's get into the sculpting. Our tape cutting, scrappy, whatever. So all you want to do, we have a piece of masking tape here. You can ignore these ones. This is just for the camera for centralizing. We get our piece of tape here, nice flat piece of tape. Quick little tip, you want to save these like little torn edges. You want to save those for like the capes and stuff, for the like the edges of the capes. Or at least I do. I don't know. In this case, especially, they're desert nomads. They're supposed to be a little kind of tattered looking, I guess. So save those for capes. So we're gonna start off. We're gonna be adding a hood to this guy. We're gonna do just the basic hood and the little drapey cape type thing out the backside. So let's do that. So the hood is gonna be just this triangular shape right here. And then the cape is gonna be something like this. And you cut this little V shape in there to kind of be able to tuck around the power pack of the Space Marine. So that's what that is. This shape is for the like armpit type pieces. Not quite armpit, but these little like front draping pieces. You can see that like under his arms. And then this one, this little scarf you do would just be like a little strand hanging down the back, just one side. We'll start with the hood. So in terms of length, I kind of just eyeball all this stuff. If I was to give it a length, here's my hobby blade. It's the top flat part of my triangle is gonna be about that long. And then I guess down to the peak would maybe be like a third of its length. So Just eyeball it on whatever you're working with, and that is what I'm doing here. At the end of the day, if it doesn't go well, it's just masking tape, and you can always do it again, and that's nice. Okay. That. And now we're going to do this central cut, and I'll actually do a little demonstration here to kind of show you what that is for. I'm going to use my little makeshift paint handle here as a head. So the shape that we cut in the masking tape is going to be this triangular shape. You got the paper, that's where the cut's going to be. You got your head right there. You just boop that right on top. The sides are both going to be coming down. So, you know, they'll be sort of tucked like so, right? And then in the back, that little cut is to sort of round out the back so you don't have like crazy bumpies, you know? So then there you got your hood, just by having a simple little shape. And then obviously it's kind of angular and crazy because I'm holding it here. But the tape is pretty malleable, and it's similar to fabric in some ways. So you can just kind of work it around and mash it down with your hobby knife, which is what we are going to do right now. Tweezers, get this up. Okay. And I like to start by, want it to overhang just a bit because I want them to look cool and moody. And then from here, you want to use your hobby knife to kind of shove the tape into all the little places. But the thing with that is, do not use the pointed or the bladed side. You want to use the flat side because you don't want to like puncture the tape a ton. You still might, so definitely try to. I'm fortunate, I broke the tip on my thing, so it's a little flat. But you don't really want to you want to just be pushing the tape down and in. You don't want to be puncturing the tape. So for the most part, unless you need to cut it, use the flat back of the hobby blade. So you start out by putting that little triangle down on his head, and I just start pressing down one side at a time. You want to kind of fold these guys in and just stuff it down in between his little neck armor area. So let's do that. I think in these cases too, where you gotta kind of bunch it up, I think that's okay because it is material. So, and also let's just fucking cut some off. This is hard to film and do at the same time. Never complained about that one yet. Yeah, sometimes you just need a little finesse of tweezers. Stuff that down using the back side of the knife as not to puncture. Get that in there as much as we can. Okay. And then we'll start doing the other side, try to make it easier on ourselves, and like churn this in like that. There we go. There we go. I think getting these shits in the back down is gonna help. And then fold that over like that. And if it gets like too close to their face like that, you can always just slip your knife in there, flatten it out, pull it away a little bit, kind of tuck it back. So it kind of opens it up. And there we go. I mean, I think that's pretty good. You just kind of got to poke around and fuss it back in there. But I think it came out pretty good. I don't know, maybe we can... The nice thing about this is that it does stick. So you can, like, I didn't want it to poof out so much. We can kind of flatten it down and stick. Get it away from the face. See, there we go. Already a little better. So once you're happy with where the shape is, you can get some super glue. I just have regular. The super thin stuff might be even better. Not sure. I'll do that. And I just use my hobby knife to kind of spread it around. And this will just lock, like firm up the tape, lock it all in, help you maintain any shape, and yeah, just fortify it. And like any bumps and ridges, you can actually like press them down and like smooth them out with your knife. This stuff is pretty malleable, it's crazy. Super handy. How about that? That is not bad. Just a few minutes, way easier and less fussy than green stuff, and cheaper. And if you do have a hard time with this, it's just masking tape. You just tear off another piece and like, you're good to go. So, but let's give this guy a little dangly scarfy do. So like I said, for the cape things, I like to have like a tattered edge. So I like to use the edge where I tore the tape off. I like to save those for my capes. He is standing in place, not really moving. I don't think I'm gonna have much motion. I think I'm just gonna have it draping down. A good way to do this, you can start by just drawing it. Makes it a little easier, so you don't have to think about it so much. So I want the shape to be something like that. That's gonna be a shoulder right there. Leave a space for the power pack. Other shoulder right there. And then we'll do that. That'll be our cape for this guy. Our hobby knife. Cuts don't have to be super precise. All right, and then with the cape, you want to just do that little V-shaped area and shove it up under the power pack. There we go. I'll use the adhesion to your benefit. Yeah, I think that's the way to, oof, I'm just pulling shit out now. Look at that. It so quickly just starts to look so fucking good. It's crazy. Maybe I'm tripping. It just looks really good to me. Anyway, so you just, once again, using the back side of your hobby blade to, first off, press it onto the marine. Once again, using that adhesion to your benefit. And then we want to press it under the pauldron. It's kind of annoying, it's sticking in there. See, it's super easy. It goes on like pretty quick. And just like press it into the marine himself, you know, just for more adhesion. It's gonna firm it up. And then to crimp it, you just sort of use your fingers. Let's see if I can use the hobby blade to like brace, sort of get a crimp in there. See, there we go. Crimping it around. And look at that. Ugh. Ah, too much, too much. Ah, there we go. Boom. Simple, easy. We got a sweet little drapey do. I used some bits from my Crute carnivores to spice them up, make them look more tribal and such. Little knives. We got our hood. So that is our 2 of our shapes. Next, we'll show you how to do the face one, which is a single step more, and it is incredibly easy. So we'll get into that next. All right, so for the hood and the face covering, like I said, I tried to do the turban technique like Peachy did with the strip, and it was too much for me, so I did this. I have this simplified version, and here's what you do. Just like with the hood, you cut the hood piece. And then for the face covering, all you need to do, I'll just use this little piece here. Yeah, so for the face covering, let's cut this off. I can actually use this here in a second too. I'll leave that. But all we need is this little rectangular piece here. Okay. So what we're going to do with the rectangular piece, so we're doing the same thing with the hood. We'll eventually put the hood over, but for the face covering, all you do is you take the rectangular piece, you just slap it to the front of his face, and yes, I do know that it is covering his eye lenses and everything, but you just start stuffing it in. You hold it in place and start stuffing it in along the sides. Okay, and in the front. Okay, stick it along the face, and then to get under the eye lenses, and this is going to add some really cool, just simple material looking bumps and ridges and folds. You just press it down. Boom. Press that, get it out of the eye lenses. There we go. The face covering. Just a little rectangle, slap it over the face, tuck in the sides, and then bring it down in the front. Gives you some nice little cool looking ridges and a really cool looking face covering. And then we'll just do the hood right on top of that. And there you are. Get your rectangular piece down, you get your hood right on top, and then you have a cool hood and face covering. So I think for this guy, I want to do something like I did with this one, but instead I want to do that shoulder, the pauldron covering on this side. I want it to drape something like that. Yeah, to like cut across. I still want to be able to see the fuel canister. So yeah, that's gonna be our shape. And And all right. And we might have to do this in multiple pieces. And that's another cool thing about using masking tape. You don't have to, I don't know, you can use like little strips and like folds, and like it just adds more texture and more movement. And I don't know, it's pretty cool. So I'm just gonna kind of wing it here. I think something like, I don't know, something like that. I feel like that's actually way too big. Fuck it, let's just try it. Okay. So that is pretty big. I'm gonna tear this top part off, I think. And once again, the beauty of this is that it is just masking tape. So pretty low stakes, cheap, and just have fun, be experimental, don't be afraid to mess up, just tear that shit off and start over, or, yeah, you don't sweat it, ain't no thing. Go. Let's see, like right here, we're just gonna fucking do this number. I'm gonna fold it. Ugh, look at this. Look how fucking, like, just like nothing, it all of a sudden looks cool. Just torn bits of tape. How about that? Ah, I'm stoked. So we'll keep fussing around. We'll get it in place here. Let's see. I think I'm gonna put like a piece under here. So we'll do something like that. Okay. See, look at that. Second piece of tape, just plop it in there like nothing. And then of course you work it around. Actually, I want to pull it up a little bit more. Definitely helpful to have a little pair of tweezers when doing this. Just to have a little bit more finite dexterity to pull the tape around and grab at it. We'll stick that down, kind of just get it all stuck to each other first. Let's focus on that. Once it's stuck down, then we can like crimp it and stuff. And okay, so there we go. That, and then to finish it off, we're just gonna, I don't know, we'll just crimp it like that. Get a little twist, and shove it back into place. Put that back down. Look at that. Ugh. I don't know. Maybe I just love the things I do too much, but I think this looks so good. Yeah, and you just fuss it around, get it to where you want it. Flatten it out with the hobby knife. Add super glue to start like firming stuff up. Do that. I'll spread it around. And then to get it away from the face, remember you just stick the flat of your blade in there. Just get it away. Give them some space. Give yourself some space to paint them islands as later. Let's firm up the cape a bit, especially where it joins. Down here. Let it spill over on the leg. Where they join back here. And that secondary piece was. Okay. I just want to spread that around. This will stiffen up the tape a bit. Join it to the model. I don't want it to be too messy on the leg. And there we go. I think two really cool looking Marines. Easily spiced up with freaking masking tape. No sculpting required. Got cool little capes. One's got a poncho thing draped over his pauldron. Other one's got like a little back cape thing. He's got just the standard hood. He's got the hood and face covering. Yeah, so there you go. A simple, cheap hobby hack that I found out thanks to Mr. Peach over at Peachy Tips. Of course, go watch his video as well. And back to other Tyler. All right, and there it is. There's the masking tape goodness. I don't know. I think it's goodness. You know, obviously, I don't know. This hobby is very multifaceted. There's lots of ways of like engaging it and thinking about it and enjoying it. So maybe this technique looks to you. You know, for me, so good. I love it. And then obviously, just like practically, it was cheap. It was relatively easy and low risk, you know, because the cheapness, the ease, you know, there's a sense of low risk, you know, like if it doesn't work out, you just peel it off and throw it away, or peel it off and start over again. But hey, that's just me. Let me know what you think down in the comments. If you dug this video, give it a like. And if you want to see more like it, you want to see the evolution of my Space Marines, of the Dust Raiders, their lore, the painting of them, be sure to subscribe. But for now, that's going to be it. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you give this a shot. It's a lot of fun to do, and don't stress about it. Be patient. Have a good time with it. Once again, that's it for now. I hope you have a great day, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace. Today is September 29, 2025. Here are 7 dice. Today's numbers are on the D20, 19. On the D12, 4. On the D10, 4. On the percentage die, 100. On the D8, 7. On the D6, 3. And on the D4, 1. Those are today's numbers.